communities were drawn into urban guerrilla warfare. This macabre symphony was performed in relation to and alongside the ongoing kinetic struggle between the Syrian regime's armed forces and opposition elements, such as the Free Syrian Army, Jabhat al-Nusra, Ahrar al-Sham, and others. The summer of 2016 was ruinous for Aleppo, leaving it reeling from the physical, economic, and human toll of nearly 5 years of calamitous combat. Now the regime launched a major new offensive against rebel-held areas, effectively strangling Aleppo by cutting it in half, opening the possibility of food shortages and total social collapse. There were estimates of just over 200,000 civilians and some 8,000 fighters left, compared with a population of more than 2 million before fighting broke out in 2012. Tens of thousands fled their city when, during the second half of that year, over 3,500 civilians were killed in shelling and airstrikes as the regime unleashed all weapons at its disposal, including illegal chemical weapons and improvised barrel bombs, ostensibly to root out terrorists, but also destroying private homes, public spaces, and medical facilities in the process. This is the savage world from which Faysal Khartash's Roundabout of Death arose. Khartash was born in Aleppo in 1952, part of a generation of disillusioned Syrian writers who were relatively isolated from the rest of their country and little known outside of Syria. These Aleppan intellectuals, nevertheless, continued to live, write, and work, languishing away for many of their days in dingy, smoke-filled cafes, bars, and restaurants under the alternatively lazy and watchful eye of state censorship. Most of Khartash's novels, including Mujaz Tarikh al-Basha al-Sagir, A Short History of the Little Pasha, 1991, Khan al-Zaytun, The Olive Caravanserai, 1995, Makka al-Majanin, The Lunatic's Cafe, 1995, Hammam al-Niswan, The Woman's Bath, 1999, and Makka al-Qasr, Palace Cafe, 2004, are set in the distinctive urban spaces of 20th century Aleppo, coffee houses, public baths, and covered markets. His 1992 novel, Durab al-Ghuraba, Land of Strangers, a fictionalized account of the life and times of the Ottoman Aleppan intellectual and politician Abd al-Rahman al-Kawakibi, received the Naguib Mahfouz Prize for Arabic Literature and was adapted into a film by Syrian director Samir Zikra that was released in 1998. Khartash's 2018 novel Akhil al-Khawa, Lovers, was honored with the Tayyib Saleh Prize for novelistic creativity. Roundabout of Death is his first, but hopefully not last, novel to be published in English. As described previously, life in general has already been violently disrupted across the divided city of Aleppo when the novel begins. Juma's attempts to maintain a modicum of regularity in his daily habits, while also attending to the needs of his aging mother, who lives across town, provide the context within which the reader encounters a city and a country in seemingly unending conflict and crisis. The narrative voice erratically swerves from first-person limited perspective to third-person omniscient and back again. Perhaps more important than the polyphony of narrative perspective, though, is the complicated relationship Juma has to space, in personal and emotional terms, as well as to concrete physical places in particular. Along with a cohort of crusty intellectuals and unemployed middle-class men, Juma frequents smoke-filled cafes around the iconic Sa'adallah al-Jabari Square in downtown Aleppo, not far from the university, a neighborhood that is now overtaken by displaced people, working prostitutes, and hordes of conscript soldiers and their commanding officers. From his coffee shop perch overlooking the square, Juma is simultaneously witness to and, if only by the reader, witnessed in the never-ending calamity and deepening malaise. Like other literary narratives of wartime, therefore, Roundabout of Death is far from a romantic action story. On the contrary, ennui has set in for Juma and his companions. Typically, there aren't too many of us, Juma notes, 10 people or so, give or take.